Thinking a little bit about the community and structurally, Culver City High School is a very unique place because of the diversity that we have. In fact, 3 years ago, uh, I forgot which website it was, but we were named. It's some real estate website that named Culver City the most diverse school, the fourth most diverse school district in the nation. Second in California, the first one being in Oakland, interestingly. But the fact that this class exists amongst this diversity, I think, really makes it work. Because in any given situation, any given year, you look at my student population, and I'm going to have students that are completely from different parts of the world, different representative of different languages, different religions, and it's not overwhelming one group over the other. That really allows for some really healthy dialogue and naturally the structure of the school allows for that. I don't know how successful a course like this would be in an environment where I might have just one single group or a majority of another single group, or where there's a lack of diversity, because like I said before, to me the true textbook are the students that come to class. And if you don't have that diversity, then you have to figure out other ways of having these conversations. But also generally, Culver City High School, since I was a student here 20 or 30 years ago, there was a lot of segregation. You could see that you can walk through a campus and you can see that there were cliques based off of ethnic groups, and you can clearly see that there was, Asian groups and African American groups and white groups and Latino groups, and that was quite significant as when I was a student. Now that I've been teaching here, and it's been now I'm going on my 23rd year of teaching, and 18 years of teaching the course, I've seen so much change. If you walk through the schools today, it's an extremely diverse school, and it's really actually hard to find those cliques. Now, I'm not saying that the cliques don't exist by racial groups, but even if you do find them, they're somehow somewhere integrated, mixed with people of other backgrounds, and it's not so rigid when it comes to those differences. So structurally, I think that we are a school that is uh, definitely diverse, but it also has established a feeling, an atmosphere, an aura of respect and tolerance. Um, you know, when I look at the class, this course and the club that we had started originally were the first few things that were being started in our campus that dealt with issues of disease, specifically social justice issues related to race and culture and diversity. We really didn't have much of that. We had cultural clubs, but they weren't really doing things at large for the greater school. But when this class first got implemented and students were doing their projects, um, more and more of our school administrators, students were looking at our school as saying, we are a place that's safe. We were creating environments that were active. One of these things, one of the changes we saw were more clubs from just a student activities perspective. Clubs were getting started that dealt more with issues of gender or sexuality or race or trying to get along, or places where we can have conversations. So that in itself was a product of that. And then now, 18 years later, this year, it was just really an honor to see younger teachers who have joined the staff throughout my time here, and seeing them excited about these topics that I've been teaching, and then look to themselves and say, what can I do from my position? And we now have two social studies teachers who put their minds together and created a gender studies course and an ethnic studies course. I definitely have to say that if some of the work hadn't been done prior to this, maybe those wouldn't have been well as received as well as they have now. But to me, that's just a great way of showing that we are moving in the right direction. There's talk about creating other courses for students to talk about, for example, critical media studies, to getting kids to understand and decipher media and the truth, and how to find that out on social media and different avenues. uh, the bottom line is that we've done that. Our school celebrated the very first homecoming Transgender Homecoming King, I believe back in 2011, the first in the country to ever do so. That was a significant step in the right direction. Our Academy of Visual and Performing Arts was doing a play called The Laramie Project, based on a horrible hate crime that occurred in Wyoming of a young gay man. Those kinds of movements got really started to send the message that we are a tolerant school. We are a school that respects everyone, and I really think that a lot of that had to do with the initial work that we were doing with our club and the class, multicultural or intercultural literature, which had helped start paving the way for those movements. And I think that that's only people, some of us that have been around for a while, can actually look and see that that was kind of like the course of events. But that's something that I advise anyone who is thinking about being a teacher, especially college students that are thinking about going into the teaching profession. We're always told this is what you're supposed to do as a teacher, and I was told those things too. But I'm one who reached out and said, how do you start a class? Just curious, like to know how to start a class here at this school. And it turned out to be a process of filling out an application, filling out an outline, putting it together, coming up with some ideas, spending some time, and look at what's happened. I've been able to create a course that's had a major impact on the school. It has given me an opportunity to teach something that I absolutely love doing. And it has helped change who we are as a school. And I just think that little action like that, a little action just by having started a course, could create a snowball effect of other things. And so my advice to anyone who's thinking about going into any kind of education field is figure out what changes you can make from your position. You don't have to be a principal. You don't have to be a highly experienced teacher. You just have to have a really good idea and be willing to work at it. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what I've done there. So I think I'm answering pretty much most of your questions.